Hi, this is JT
Katie.
and welcome to G Club. Today we're going to be doing our video called The Reconnect. As you know, we've been doing a board game connections series, if you will, of how to plays, of actually watching us play the game together. But we also started off by talking about a topic. And so what we want to do is we want to do a reconnect. We want to go back through that original topic, look at some of the comments that people had throughout that video and through others, and get some feedback and talk through that. And then after that, we're also going to be talking about some of the games that we've been playing together. So as promised in some of these other videos, I mentioned that we'd be talking about some of the games we've been playing as a family. And so I'm not going to talk about all the games that I've been playing, all the games that KT's been playing. We're going to be looking at games we've been playing together, and we're going to be talking about those. So first off, if you didn't watch the video, I'll put that somewhere in the description or a little pop-up just above KT's head, somewhere right over here. And so if you want to go back to that, that is the what do you do for fun video, okay? And if you want to go back to that and watch that video and see what we're talking about here, but I'll try to give a quick recap. Basically what I did is I said, hey, look, instead of asking the question about what do you do for work, how about asking the question about what do you do for fun? And then taking what do you do for fun and try to figure out unique ways in order to be able to connect with other people. And that's what we want to follow up and talk about today is some of the comments that we received, and then talk a little bit about how we do that as a couple, either with us, just, together, or with other couples or with other families as we try to host and try to get to know people. So let's start off with some of them. I think, KT, you have your phone out since we're recording with my phone. So would you get the comments up and read off who it was? So we had, of course, we had Rowski saying the first.
So glad he was the first to comment.
So he's the first. So
yay.
Congratulations, Rowski. Really appreciate that. You were the first.
But he let us know that for fun, he likes to go geocaching.
Geocaching? Okay. That is fun. I've always wanted to, well, I guess I shouldn't say that's fun. It looks fun.
It seems like fun. I've never done anything like that. No. But I do like scavenger hunts and, hide and seek type things. That's fun.
And you've done like spelunking, right?
Spelunking? Yes.
Spelunking. I can never get that word right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Just one time going down in the caves in Tennessee. I think back on it now, though, and I just wonder what in the world I was thinking, because small, cramped, dark spaces don't sound like fun anymore.
No, it never sounded like fun to me, so I was very glad that you got to do that and that you enjoyed it.
I am glad I did it. It's an experience that, check.
I can live through that. But geocaching does sound like fun. That does sound like an adventure, going on a hike, but it feels like a hike with a purpose.
Yeah.
Rather than just a hike just to take a hike, right?
I wonder how it would be for Carter at almost 7 years old. Would that be an activity that he could participate in and enjoy, or would he need to be older?
I don't know. I took him on a hike not too long ago, and when we were talking about taking a walk, he didn't want to take a walk. He wanted to take a hike. Oh. He felt like that was something different. So when we took a hike, he was excited about that versus taking a walk.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what in his mind
a hike is
versus that, but he enjoyed it. He got to see rocks, we got to see wildlife, we got to take pictures of flowers, all that kind of stuff. So he enjoyed it. But maybe geocaching might be something fun because there's maybe a treasure at the end.
Oh yeah, he would love that.
Yeah, so that's probably more likely. So what else do we have in there?
Well, Joel says he works for the state of California for fun. You might need a dictionary, Joel. I'm not sure that qualifies as fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, Joel, I don't.
I guess if you really enjoy your job, it can be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy my job. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. All right. Awkwardly moving on.
Yep. Next
all right.
comment. Kevin says that he likes to do visual productions, and he's been doing that for a while. So
Yes. Yeah. Kevin's a good friend of ours. We've known him since college, and he does a lot of photography, but he also does a lot of video production. And he actually helped us with one of our videos last year.
Yes. And we've gotten a lot of good feedback on that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'll post that link somewhere in the description or over KT's head again if you want to see him having helped out with that work. But he's really good, and he actually did some of the senior pictures and stuff for our oldest.
Our oldest senior pictures, they turned out great.
They turned out great, and so he does a really good job. And maybe I'll throw a link down to his Instagram because he's got some fantastic photos that he does, and I love his work. So he went out to like the deserts of Utah, and took a bunch of pictures of the skyline, which are really beautiful. So I could see how that would be for fun. I'm interested though, Kevin, if you watch this video, kind of talk a little bit about how you use that for fun and what you do to kind of help connect with other people as well, especially with that. And I have some ideas on what that looks like, but I'd be interested to see what Kevin says. He's always very thoughtful. All right, what else we got?
Well, then Rowski was talking about the Star Trek holodecks. And
about the stories.
Yeah, and holo board games that he thinks will be coming.
Okay.
I can't really speak much to that one.
Yeah, I guess the holodeck from Star Trek is kind of the ability to kind of completely immerse yourself in something. I guess we would call it maybe an augmented reality at this point. I mean, we love to do escape rooms, and we did a virtual reality escape room, which was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And that did kind of feel almost like a holodeck, but in a holodeck, it's almost like you're not wearing you're not wearing goggles or glasses. You're
Feels
just in a
real. Yeah.
You're feeling there. And I thought that the virtual reality escape room stuff that we did was actually really well done, and we were walking around and having a really good time. But the holodeck is definitely like that next level. Like you're not wearing any machinery or anything. And I think that would be really cool and would be really bringing in the immersion. I think what he's talking about is the idea of stories, right? That stories bring us together. It creates a bond if we have a story that we can tell later, and not just from the perspective of, there's just a story to tell, but that you're actually involved in creating the story.
Yeah.
And certainly having a holodeck would be amazing. I mean, I love VR.
Yeah.
Like VR is a lot of fun.
VR is really neat.
And there's a lot of things you can do with VR to make it more immersive. And, having a board game that's kind of a holodeck.
I really can't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some games that have used augmented reality, where you can kind of see things on the table. There was a game called Golem Arcana, I think it was. And it quickly went on to Barnes & Noble into the clearance aisle because it didn't do very well. No, it didn't. I don't know how. Like, I heard some people think it was really cool, but I think it ended up feeling just like a gimmick at that point. So I'm not sure how that would work out, but I would love to see that. I would love to see more technology. Now, there's a lot of people, when they see technology combined with board games, they go screaming for the hills, because the reason why they want to play board games is because they want analog. They want something that they're touching and feeling. But I wonder if that holodeck idea would be there. But I don't know. We could go on that probably forever and be its own topic of trying to figure out how to deal with a holodeck on that. So I think that's it on the comments, right, from that video.
Yes, those are all the comments.
Okay. And so now let's get into talking about some of the games that we've been playing. Again, we want to kind of talk about some of the games and the reason why we like them and the reason why we pick them up, and to give you an idea so that if it sounds interesting to you, then maybe it's something you pick up because of something that we said about it that might trigger you and say, ooh, that sounds interesting, versus your normal board games. And so if you're here, you're new to board games, this is a good opportunity to be able to get into insight into what we like to play together. Now, there's all kinds of games that I like to play that she doesn't, and there's probably games that she really likes to play but I don't, that are some things that we've kind of like, maybe not so much. But the biggest game that I play is trying to figure out what KT likes. And so the challenge for her is that sometimes she doesn't really know what she likes until we actually play the game. And if that's not a microcosm of our relationship, on things. I don't know what else is, right? So she is my greatest mystery, and I love her so much. So, but anyway, coming back around to it, so there's like 5 or 6 games I think we want to introduce to you and talk through. And the first one that I want to get to is called Arch Ravels. Now, KT is really into fiber arts. Would that be the correct term for this? Because fiber arts kind of hits like a larger, broader topic,
yeah,
right?
Because I do a lot of things with yarn and such things, so it's,
Okay. All right.
That's kind of that umbrella.
Right. I've tried to get her to combine it with like jujitsu, and then it could be mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial crafts and arts and crafts.
Mixed martial
arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I messed up that joke, didn't I? That was really bad. Yeah. Mixed martial arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the joke. So, anyway, but with Arch Ravels, that was a way for me to, hopefully bring her to the table and say, here's a game that you really could love because it's all about yarn, and it even has like wooden yard bowls, right?
Yeah.
And so I got that to the table. We got it out. It looked really pretty because I had like the deluxe version of things.
With the mat and everything.
The mat and everything, and we played it. And what did you think?
It was okay. Kind of our benchmark for games is if I say I didn't hate it. So I did not hate it, and I think it would be fun. And I think especially thinking of my mom and different friends that aren't necessarily into board gaming, but they are into crafts, and so that would be a good game for them that they could enjoy. It's simple enough to learn how to play that non-board gamers would enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think some of it was just kind of you're gathering materials to then go out and make something for somebody, right? Like they had like a teddy bear or something that they wanted you to make, and it had to be a certain color. So then you were going out to the market to get the fiber that you needed in that color, and to get other pieces that you needed in order to be able to create, like a buttons or something like that, right? I don't remember all the
a sweater and a scarf and mittens.
So you're trying to make all of these different craft items, or all these different knitted items.
Yeah.
And you were looking to make those for other people and then sell them in the marketplace, right? And to be able to fulfill orders. So it kind of runs you through a little bit of what you're dealing with. But it seemed to me, and you can correct me wrong, it just was too simple and a little too random. Is that kind of your feedback on it? But you feel like the theme is enough to where it's not like you would be bored playing it, but you could see yourself around the table with your mom, and that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah, it would be fun to play with other crafting people.
Yeah, to kind of get them into, the idea of being able to play a game like that, because it's unique.
Yes.
It's a unique theme, and we have it right up here. And, sometimes what happens is we'll get these games like, yeah, it's okay, but it's not a great game, and we'll get rid of it. But I think in this case, because we could see ourselves playing it with other people, that we're going to keep it.
Yeah.
And that's really the biggest thing here, right? And again, we're talking about connections with board games. And so we wouldn't keep this if we didn't feel like we could get other people to play it and enjoy themselves.
Yeah. But I do think that Mom would like it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mom, if you're watching this,
we have something for you to do when you come.
Yeah, come visit. So, next up is, so we really enjoy playing like escape room style games, right? Like we actually go to escape rooms. It's one of our biggest date night things that we do. And I don't know how many are we in, like the 40s?
Maybe, at least 30s.
30s?
Yeah.
I mean, we've done a lot.
I love them.
Yeah, and we love escape rooms. In fact, we've been a part of, kind of doing, what would you call it? Market research with a friend of ours that was actually making their own escape rooms. We got to actually run through one of his escape rooms after he got it built. It was really well done. So if you're looking out near Northern California, look for, Exodus. He changed it, didn't he?
Yes.
He changed it.
I can't remember.
I can't remember now what he changed it to. It was Exodus, but I'll put that in the description below too, just in case you're looking for that as well.
Folsom, California.
In Folsom, California. And so it's really well done. He's got I think 4 rooms right now.
Yeah.
But we got through the pirate one, which was really good. I think you went through another one, didn't you?
I did. It was a science experiment room.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're into escape rooms, pay attention to these next kind of games. They're not exactly the same thing as your, but the reason why we love it is because we love puzzles, and we love deduction. Okay. And so we really like those 2 things. There are other games out there that we played a lot that are basically like escape rooms. So we can talk about those at some point. If you're interested in that, let us know in the comments below. But we're going to talk about a couple of them right now. First off, Saint Noir. Okay. We watched a ton of like CSI before, and we watched detective shows, and we've gone through all that. And Saint Noir is an interesting premise because it takes your Alexa, okay, so you have an Echo Dot or Alexa device, whatever you're using, and you put it out on the table with you, and you use it to play the game. Okay, so really interesting. Right up here,
concept.
Right here, this big old box. Okay, now the weird thing is about this game is that you open up this big old box, and there's about like this much in components.
Not much.
It really kind of blew my mind, like how little components there are in that thing. I thought there was going to be a lot more to this, and so it's interesting, right? What are some things that you like initially thought, like because they had voice acting, they had all this immersive like music and stuff, and you're asking questions to the app. Like
they got a great start to it, and then it just kind of fell flat. Yeah. I felt like theatrical is a good word, I think, for it. It's very interesting that way, but the gameplay itself was not at all complex. I felt like it would be a really good app on your phone because you can just pick your different choices for the clues, but as a board game, not so much.
Yeah, it's really kind of, it's overly simple.
Yes.
Like there are deduction games where you play it and you think, okay, I've got to come up, and then you have like an aha moment, right? Like you have an aha moment, like, okay, I think I've got a strategy to figure this out and be the first person to figure it out, right? Now this game is cooperative, so you're not playing against each other, okay? So it's not like Clue where you're playing against each other. It's a cooperative game, so you're playing against the game, and you're trying to figure out who done it. You can play it just by yourself if you wanted to. But we played it together. We ran through at least 3 times. And all 3 times we got into the end and went, okay, we solved it.
But it just felt like luck. You know, we just happened to pick the right location, the right person, and it just...
Yeah.
There was not really any skill involved.
No, it felt more like an activity or an event. Like, you know, like it didn't really feel like we were playing the game. No. It didn't feel like we had a lot of choices that were meaningful. Yeah. It just felt like you made the obvious choice every time. Right? So that one, unfortunately, you know, it's an Amazon product. You know, I don't know if I would really recommend it. You know, if you want to try it just because it's something new. Yeah. I'll give them that. It was something new, but it just kind of fell flat for us. And so it's not going to stick around our collection. It's not even something I would want to try to connect with other people on. Now, on the other hand, we did play some games that I think were a lot more fun. One of them is Search for Planet X, which is right here. Now, this game is brought to you by this concept, and so you have to forgive me. So those of you that are into this, you know, you can correct me here if I'm wrong on this. But there's an idea that there is some kind of like somewhere in space they found an area where there seems to be a gravitational pull, but they can't find a planet. And so you're trying to find the 10th planet. And so Planet X is where this is coming in. That's where the theme is coming from. And it's really cool that you're trying to figure this out. So what you do is you have this like map of, I don't know, you would call it the astronomical sky, if you will. You're kind of looking at different Hubble telescopes and things. and you're trying to see if you can figure out where Planet X is. And you're learning more information. It does have an app, and the app does a really great job at trying to keep things going. You can play it without an app, but I would recommend playing it with the app, because if you play without the app, if you go to guess and you're wrong, you're just out of the game. But with the app, at least you can stay in the game, because you can guess and it'll tell you whether or not you're right. But you're trying to figure out where the comments are. You're trying to figure out where the asteroids are. You're trying to figure out where the dwarf planets are. And then each game you play, the app randomizes some of the logic behind it. So it'll say dwarf planets can't be next to comets. And I don't know, Planet X will never be across the astronomical sky from, I don't know, a gas cloud or something like that. Okay. And so it changes it up. And so you're trying to deduce what you're playing. And we played this together. I played it together numerous times with Evan, and he wanted to play it again. The really neat thing I like about this game is that you can play it with multiple levels at once.
Yeah.
It has the ability for someone to get more clues than everybody else. So you can have an expert mode playing against a beginner, and they have, it's kind of like a handicap in golf, right? Like you can have where, you know, someone is kind of getting a gap, right? Or, you know, having that so that way when you're playing this game, if someone's brand new to it, they still have a chance. And I did that once with, I think, a friend. I forget exactly who it was. We did that once with me, Evan, and a friend, and we played it like that and put the other person, the beginner, and I think it was John, and I think he either just squeaked it out or it was really close. And so it was fun because Evan and I played on expert, he played on beginner. So what are some of the thoughts? I've been running rampant on that one.
I think it's really well done because, like you said, there are a lot of intricacies that they have worked out in the game that are really neat. And it is a lot of information when you're playing, but it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because we have played some deduction games where it's like, oh, there's so much information, I don't even know what I'm trying to figure out. But I think this one does a good job of helping you organize all of that information and deduce.
Yeah, their sheets are actually really well organized, and they even teach you in the manual about how to kind of write shorthand to make it a little bit easier to kind of keep your stuff organized, which is really cool. Because one of our favorite games is a game called Sleuth, and Sleuth feels like you're playing Sudoku with like Albert Einstein or something. I don't know. Like it like she said, those one of those games where just like your mind goes tilt by the time you get done because you're trying to fill in the gaps of things. And I think this game just does a really excellent job with that. So that one's definitely one we're going to be keeping. We continue to play it over and over again. I think that's one that we can introduce to a lot of people and be able to connect with.
That's fun.
Yeah. All right. What's next on the list? What are the other ones you want to talk about?
Mysterium Park.
Yes, Mysterium Park. So I'll let you introduce that one.
Mysterium, the original game, is actually like my favorite game. I don't know why exactly. I think I like being the ghost, or not the ghost.
Yeah, the ghost.
Is it the ghost?
It's the ghost.
Yeah, I like doing that. I like being able to give clues and trying to be able to think like other people would think and give hints. So I love Mysterium. And Mysterium Park is kind of how do we say it? Kind of a condensed version of Mysterium. It's more compact, a little easier to play and travel with, but it's basically the same.
Talk a little bit about the theme of Mysterium.
Well, Mysterium, the original game, is a kind of a murder mystery type theme. Someone has been killed, and the ghost of that person is trying to communicate and give you hints and clues about what happened to them. So you are trying to solve the murder with help from the other side. Right.
And you're dealing with these like really fantastic, like, I don't know what to call it, dreamy art. What would you call that art? Kind of a fantastic.
I feel like it's a mix of like Dixit and Clue.
Yeah. If you've ever played Dixit, it does kind of take the element of Dixit, where you see the different like fantastic art, like.
And it is like dreams, because it doesn't really make sense when you analyze the pictures. You're like, that doesn't go together.
Yeah, like you have a clock that's kind of like melted over a chair, or you know, you have these weird kind of
just
like areas that you're looking at.
Yeah, very, very detailed, because as the ghost, you can't speak audibly, so you're using these pictures, and there's so many little details that you can use. You know, is it the color of the card? Is it the string that's hanging down? Is it, you know, all these things that you're trying to get somebody to catch and pick up on.
Yeah, and you're still doing the same thing in Clue, right? Like you're trying to still get, you know, who done it, what did they use, and then where was it, right? So you're basically doing the same thing. And so you're trying to work all together for that. And so, like you said, Mysterium Park does something similar. So I think Mysterium goes up to 7 players. Mysterium Park only goes up to like 6. So, yeah, the back is on upside down and backwards.
Put it on backwards. But this one has a different theme. It's a circus theme.
It's a circus theme versus the other one is in like this mansion or something. Yeah. But it's essentially the same thing, but you're reducing it down to like its very core components. Mysterium has like this, you know,
it's
huge.
A large box.
It's a larger box, you know, regular style box like you'd have, like maybe like that or like this, and you have this huge
screen.
This screen with all of these different things that you're tracking as the ghost. That one seems to kind of reduce it down. Now, the thing that cracks me up about both of them is the time. Okay, a lot of boxes they'll say things like 20 to 30 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
In the original, it said 42 minutes. This one says
28.
28. I don't know how you can get that specific. And as far as I'm concerned, like most box times, they lie. Okay, they lie. All right. They must take like some of the most efficient players in most of these games, and they're just flying through and they're making decisions as soon as they go.
These are pretty accurate.
But that's pretty accurate. It is the weird thing about 28 minutes is that it is weirdly accurate with it. But that's also because it has a timer to it, right? And this one, does it have a timer in that one? I know it has a timer in the first one.
No,
timer in that? I'm trying to remember the distinction on that.
Well, there's a difference in how the clues, how you can like wipe them out, how you can start over. There is a game, you know, turn marker. Like you only have so many guesses or whatever. What are they? So many nights that you can.
Yeah. They definitely shortened it up.
Yeah. I do forget now how many, all the changes were.
Yeah.
There were some just very subtle changes. I do still prefer the original game to it. I feel like it's, I don't know. I guess because this feels abbreviated. And it's meant to be.
Yeah, and Mysterium is your favorite game.
It is.
It's your favorite game of all time. When I got that game and she said this is my favorite game of all time, I was like, yes, I finally
we have one game.
Finally I got a game that she really loves. And so, but Mysterium Park, what do you think? Is that a keeper for us? Is that something you'd want to keep around, or do you feel like it's not? Like,
no,
what do you
think? I think it's good. It is, the theme of it is a little bit creepier. I know some people would have a problem with the themes of the dead and the speaking from the other side kind of thing. Honestly, though, when I play it, that doesn't even register in my mind that that's what's happening. I'm just trying to give you clues and get you to guess the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, you could really get in and role play this and get kind of a mysterious vibe going on, especially with all the components and stuff from the original one, because it's pretty broad and spread out.
Yeah.
This one kind of reduces in a little bit tighter package.
But I do think that this is a good version, and because it is quicker, it's something that you can play in an evening. You know, if you have a family over for dinner and you spend time talking over dinner, well, you still have time to play a game. Because this is not going to take long. It's not that complicated to learn how to play either, so you can kind of jump right in. And
the biggest difference, I think, in this is the setup.
Yeah, the setup is much faster.
The setup is a lot faster because you set it up in a grid versus you have to set it up for every single player that's at the table. So this would be a lot quicker to set up. So the 42 minutes is playtime, but it doesn't mean the setup is there as well.
It
The setup probably takes 20, 30 minutes to do.
Oh, I don't think it's that long.
Yeah.
It takes a few minutes, but
all right.
15 maybe.
Okay. So what's next? So Mysterium Park, that's a keeper. Trying to introduce people to the idea of Mysterium so that you can reel them in to play the bigger version. Is that?
Yeah, that would work.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. What's next?
Let's see. Sherlock 13.
Sherlock 13.
You have to remind me.
So that's right there. So
yeah, I didn't like that one.
You didn't like it? Really? You're telling me now? Unbelievable. All right. So Sherlock 13, it does have this weird theme where it takes like all your major characters, Watson, Moriarty. Hey, Artie. John Watson, Sherlock Holmes, who? Mary, Irene Adler. So you have all these characters that are there. Even the constable. All right. Lestrade and all those different characters, and one of them is the suspect, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right, because usually they're the ones.
Yeah, because you have all of the good people there.
All the good people that are, and well, typically.
I didn't really hate this game. I just hated that you won every time.
Oh, that's what it is. But we played it 2-player, and we played it a couple times 2-player. I don't really think it's meant to be a 2-player game. It goes 2 to 4. I'd like to see what it's like at a 4-player game.
Yes.
But it's quick. It's a 15-minute game, although I think they're lying. I think it took us 30 minutes both times to play. I don't think it was 15 minutes. I think it took us a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, it probably did.
Yeah. So, but
then we constantly get interrupted when we're trying to do anything. So.
What, with 3 kids and a couple of cats?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true. Maybe interruptions might increase that. So maybe if we're completely focused and we've had enough sleep and we've had, like focus time and there's nobody around and there's
like today.
Like today.
Yeah, there's no children here
There's
today.
no children right now, so that's why we're able to shoot this video. So Grandpa was able to take the kids out, so they're going to go fishing. But I feel like this is like it's a lighter deduction game.
It is.
It's a quicker one. This feels like, an after dinner thing like you mentioned with the Mysterium Park. I think we're still kind of open on it, right?
Yes.
And I want to see what we do with more players.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we need to try it with 3 or 4 players and see if it's better.
Yeah, so I agree. So this one's kind of a question mark for us, but I think at the end of the day, I got it for like $10. So it was a good kind of, check on it. But it's what you'd call micro game. It's called Sherlock 13 because it only has 13 cards. So there's not a whole lot of components to this. I mean, this is a smaller box, which is good. The reason why it's so big is because it has the screens and it has
privacy.
the privacy screens, and then you have your deduction forms and notepads and stuff. So, so more to come on that. We might come back to this one at some point, but I kind of like it, but I'd like to see what it's like with more players.
And that's the same with Triplock.
Triplock, yeah.
We played it as a 2-player game. I like the artwork on it. I think the artwork and the components are really neat.
I got this game specifically because she loves steampunk and like Victorian, like alternate history kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I got that specifically for this, and it's kind of a puzzly type game.
Yes.
So I thought maybe this will work.
Maybe.
For KT.
You have it upside down? No. Yeah. Again, the 2-player mode, not sure how well that worked.
But it's only a 1 to 2 player game.
Yeah. But we were talking, the cooperative version really seems interesting to me.
Yeah, and as we've been looking at that, there's some that are just strictly solo missions, and then there's some that actually have cooperative missions. So one thing, this is made by a company called Chip Theory Games, and what they do is they make their games around these really nice looking poker chips. And so everything with Chip Theory, there's a couple things you're always going to have with them. One is you're going to have these really nice plastic cards. You could basically play this game underwater and it wouldn't hurt the cards. I don't know about that, but
No.
but you can get the cards where it wouldn't bother them. You can riffle shuffle them, the whole thing, and I don't think that these cards will ever die. And then they have these really beautiful chips that they have that they do all their games with, and there's other games that I've played that they're always top notch with their components. And this one was a little bit different because I'm used to these grandiose games that they've got. They're big, they're huge, they have a lot of things going on. This one is a little bit more simplified. And it takes these two chips that are like gear locks. You're like, not locksmiths, but you're lock picks, right? You're people that like to pick locks.
Lockpicker?
Lockpicker?
Burglar?
Burglar? Thief? I don't know.
Shyster?
Maybe?
Bad person.
Well, it depends. What are you breaking in for? You could be trying to break out. Almost like a escape room. I don't know. But anyway, so we started playing this in you roll dice to see what your actions are potentially. And then you're trying to get these stacks, and so it's hard to really explain. But you have like the two gears that are on either side, and on the inside you have
It's a sandwich. It's an Oreo sandwich.
Oreo sandwich with like a yellow token on the inside. And typically what you're trying to do is you have these cards that you're trying to get these different components to line up a certain way. But you're flipping them over, you're swapping them, you're moving them around, you're putting them in a hidden compartment where you can't really get to it. And so you and your opponent, when you're playing, are trying to move this around, trying to get it in the configuration that is the best for you. And I don't know. We played it, twice? Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, maybe we just need to try to play this on the solo mode and go through the story.
Yes.
And play that together and see how well it works.
Yeah. I will say with the components, the icons and explanations of movements that you can do are really confusing. Like, they're very, they're just not intuitive with the pictures.
Yeah, they take a little bit. I think probably by the end of the second game, we had most of it figured out, but there were still some we kept coming back to, and we kept looking up.
I had to study very deliberately.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the thing of them trying to put everything in this one tiny box. And there's a lot of content in here, just in this one little box. And but it's still something we need to go through and try to play the solo mode to it, see if we can get something out of it. I don't know. I'm just not sure if it's going to stick around or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not anything that we can necessarily use to connect with a lot of people.
No, because it's a 1 and 2 player game. Mm-hmm. And really, this was just more of something that you and I wanted to try out and play. And see if
I can't see me trying to explain that to anybody else.
No. So this one, kind of iffy on. I wouldn't try to track this down just yet. But it's got a solo mode, which is not really kind of part of the theme of what we've been talking about, which is trying to connect. But if you like puzzles and stuff, it might be worth looking at if you can get this for relatively cheap. The challenges is that Chip Theory Games usually is like direct ship. Like you buy it directly from them, or you go through a Kickstarter or crowdfunding backing in order to be able to get some of their games. Which is fine. That's just how they do their distribution model. But there are some places where I've seen their games pop up. For the most part, I've only found that I can get it from them. So this one is kind of on the maybe stack. Mm-hmm. We got to play this a few times. We actually have kind of a shelf that's off to the side that we have games that we want to try to get to and that we want to play 3 times and see if we like them and see if they're going to stay in our collection or see if they're going to go out. With having a large collection like this, we got to make sure that we got to cycle through some of this stuff to make sure that as we get new games in, that some of the older games we've had sticking around, whether or not they need to stay, right? Or maybe we found something that does it better, right? So some games that we might get rid of, on this channel, you might see us, it's not because it's a bad game, it's just because we've got a game that does something better, or we don't see it connecting well with the people that we know. And so we're going to move on with it and kind of keep the games around that we know it's going to get played. So I think that hits a lot of the ones that we have here. So as we've talked through some of this stuff, KT, we've been talking about trying to connect with others, and we've been trying to deal with that, different ways, like our travels. What are some things that you do from your perspective that, like with your crafts and things like that, that you've done
to connect
with other people?
Well, like we said, the fiber arts is a little bit of an obsession of mine. I do the knitting and the crocheting, and I spin, and everyone says, like on the bicycle? Nope. As in
Every
Sleeping
time.
Beauty, okay? Spindle of the spinning wheel. That's what I do, and I enjoy creating things like that. The way that I have been able to connect with people through it is just conversations. Just the other day, I was at the Dollar Tree, and they actually had yarn at the Dollar Tree, and it's decent yarn. It's from a reputable company, okay? It's not cheap yarn. I mean, it is cheap, but it's good yarn. Anyway, as I was checking out with all these little balls of yarn, the cashier started saying, I really want to learn how to crochet. And we had a whole conversation in the checkout about the crochet. So just by buying it, just by being in the store, I've been able to have different conversations with people. I've been able to do classes at our church. I've been able to meet people through Facebook or meetups. So trying to build our network here in Charlotte, since it's still pretty new to us, trying to branch out and get to know people. It has connected me with a group of people I never would have interacted with otherwise. So, it's just finding people with similar interests, I guess.
Yeah, and she does a great job at it, a whole lot better than I do, at connecting with people and making those connections, whether it's with yarn or whether it's with coffee.
Oh,
Yeah, coffee's a big one. Unfortunately, I don't drink coffee, which some people find kind of weird.
I don't know how we've been together this long.
Yeah, but with that said, though, like it's one of the biggest heartbeats of what we want to be, is not just for this channel, but as people, and that is to look for ways to connect. Trying to find unique ways to be able to get ourselves to be open up to other people, to have an authentic relationship with folks. And these are just a few of the ways in which we want to do that. So that said, any final words of wisdom from KT? No, nothing from her. No, I like putting her on the spot sometimes. Like, that was not just to give her a hard time. But anyway, so with that said, again, what are some things that you like to do? What are some things that you enjoy doing that allows you to be able to connect with other people? Here at G Club, we find that better connected people make better communities. And so one of the things we want to do is encourage you to figure out ways to connect better with other folks. And if there's any way that we can help you, whether that's with a game, whether that's with a crafting supply or yarn arts, right? Fiber arts. I will get that right one of these days. I am trying so hard. That leave those in the comments below, and we'd be happy to try to answer it as best we can. If it's something fiber arts related, I will direct that to KT. If it's other, then one of us will respond and get to those as quickly as we can. So next up, we're going to be talking about a little bit different subject. Next month, we're going to be talking about cooperative games. Yes, we mentioned Saint Noir as a game that you can play against not just other people, but you're playing against the game. And I'm going to be talking about that in the next topical video, and we'll discuss what that means and what you can look for that. So, with that said, my name is JT.
I'm KT.
And you've been watching G Club.